Man, look at this. It's looking like a car, you know? Safety first, guys. All right, so he's supposed to be here Sunday to weld this up, so I'm just grinding these spots down. Pretty bad weather today, off and on, so it's not like I can do much of anything, so I'm just going to grind in between the rain sessions. If you look, I've kind of got some of this taken down, but I need to be able to get in here better. If you look down here, like that's not even welded. It's not even touching. This needs to be cleaned up. I cleaned out a spot there, cleaned up some down there. So I'm going to do it on the other side too. But I got to get these welds like this. There used to be a bunch of weld there, like slag. So it's smooth now. So I'm going to get this so when he comes to weld, it's a lot better area to weld on. There wasn't a whole lot. I just, this corner down here, over here, where that bar was, tacked in underneath here where this bar fell off. And these corners up here, got to get up in there a little bit better. But got a little close right here and cut my ground wire, so I have to redo that. But that ain't nothing. Literally just only took that much off, so I still have plenty of wire to redo that. Hell, I might even use a bigger ground wire at this point. Might as well, right? All right, people, I got the radiator kind of mocked up, just got some bolts holding it in, but that's how it's going to sit on the cross member, or the cross bar up front, and then the small bar will be for the top, and that's what's going to go across the front up here. So you can see where it previously was, where the polished spots are. So it'll go essentially like that and get welded in, and then them two tabs is what mounts the upper part of the radiator, and that lower beam, the radiator set right here. So we'll be good once this is welded in. And yeah, the radiator will be able to be mounted. So what will happen is we'll get the bottom bar welded in, set the radiator on top of it, and mount this bar to the radiator, and then see where it hits on this once it's bolted onto the radiator, because it might be a little bit better up here, it might be a little bit better down here. So I have to get that taken care of. But that's where we stand with that part. All this is probably surface rust over again, since the weather is the way it is, but nothing I can't go back over with a drill. Just got the wire brush on a drill here, and just cleaning stuff up. So I got that ground down, and it's about time to go get the kids from school. But I do need to look in the passenger side where it runs through what's not ran, because the cruise control and all that ran through, and then I want to remove the gauges out of the middle in here. So it's got these odometer water and oil gauges. I'm going to use that bezel still. I like it. I don't know exactly what I'm going to do. I might use it to mount the Terminator X bracket. That would be kind of cool. But basically, I'm going to take them out because that's got live oil going through it. And then the water temp I have hooked up for the Holly. I do have to get that wire tucked still. I thought I already did, but apparently I have not for the wire tap. The other wire, I believe, is a signal wire for the radio. Yeah, and then over there somewhere is the cruise control unit that I have to figure out. Right now, number one on my Christmas list right here. I had to cut the corner off. Had a sharp point that ripped my pants open, jabbed me on the inside of the leg twice now when I try to get something off the roof, or just messing around walking by it too close, it gets caught on it. So I had to cut the corner off. But yeah, that's number one on my Christmas list. Whew. Man, look at this. It's looking like a car, you know. I'm so freaking excited. So some of these welds I am gonna grind down a little bit, but they are really good welds. It's just I couldn't grind down enough for him to go over there booger welds, I guess. Like right here, it's a little thick. I can grind it down. But he got that corner. He got all this tabs. He got this in. I mean, all this stuff. I can shake the whole car by this. So I use these. I'm going to use for hood tabs, or for the hood pins. And what I did is I found the best spot. I know most people come up in this area, but I wanted mine back here. So I put the hood pin, I drilled the spot where the first one was. I measured it so it's the same on both sides, the same location. Then I put a guide through it, and then I made sure that it was the middle of each one of these tabs right here. So all that's even, all this is even, everything's welded in how it's supposed to be, solid. The radiator's in now. I can put the transmission cooler back up here and start wiring this in. I can run my wires through now and have everything ran how it needs to be. Did I mention I'm excited? Man, so much progress in one day. And like I said, this stuff is solid. Like there was a huge hole right here where they cut and messed everything up. There was a huge hole down here. Look at that corner. That was not even connected. Now it's just a smooth weld corner. I mean, dude does this for a living. So, I mean, look at that. And the thing is, this thing, you know, it's not a show car. It don't need to be super fancy. I made sure the radiator leaned a little. I like the way that is, and I had plenty of room for it. So, yeah, I don't know what else to say. I'm super, super excited, and we can move forward with, like I said, next will be I'll run the wiring through. Actually, I'm going to get this spots like cleaned up and then painted, because I don't want this going bad on me again. So I might be lazy and just paint over that down there. I don't know, but like I said, man, oh, and the sway bar mount down there, it is all welded up. It was not welded up before on this side. It was just hanging. I got that in a previous video. That's all welded up. I put a jack underneath it and put it up to the body. And same thing with this bottom support here. I had put my foot on it and it just fell off. So I put a jack underneath it and put it where I wanted it, lifted it up. I mean, it was enough force that it raised the front end, and then he just welded it all in. Everything is, oh, it's mint. So Blake, if you're watching this, I appreciate that. We exchanged work. I put hubs on his Tacoma or Tundra, whatever Toyota that was, and he did this for me, and super excited. Like I said, I'm going to get all this painted and cleaned up, get the wiring done. That's the next step. So I didn't film a ton of the process of the welding and stuff like that, because his truck was right here where I'm standing, and I was working on his truck while he was doing that. So I didn't want to be, you know, all up in his way, and at the same time I had a job to get done. So like I said, we exchanged work, and I got a little bit of welding footage in there, but I think the strength of the welds and everything speak for themselves, and the front end is on the car, and it's way better than it was before. So, and now the radiator and everything's mounted. I'm super excited. All right, what I'm using is this Rust-Oleum rust reformer. I've hit all this with a wire brush, but I just want to be sure because it still has some surface rust. So I'm gonna hit it with this and let it dry, and then I'll go over it with some enamel from Rust-Oleum, which is also rust prevention. All right, I got it hit well with a rust converter. I got to let that dry. The welds have been ground down to a little bit more smooth. Some of this stuff like that, he was welding over other people's crappy welds. There's not a whole lot you can do. But when I say this is strong, I have jumped up and down on this front end, and it does not budge. This is strong. So I am super excited where this stands right now, and I cannot wait to get this back together. The next step will be finishing the wiring harness. It's got to get zip tied up here and ran across the front. Got to figure out the wiring harness for the fans for the Holley Terminator X. Definitely got to figure that out, because I want the ECU to control the fans. And yeah, that's about where I'm at right now. There is a connector down here I don't know about. And that's, you know, one step at a time. But let me know what you guys think.
Turn around, I done made it this far. Look back now, that wouldn't be too smart. Shoot for the stars even when it gets hard. Put my faith in the Lord with the 16 bars, I won't turn around. I done made it this far. Look back now, that wouldn't be too smart. Shoot for the stars even when it gets hard. Put my faith in the Lord with the 16 bars, I won't turn around. I won't